I'm back with another honey-do list. Remember, we're working on the projects to finish the house so we can sell it, so we can move closer to the grandbabies. So today we're talking about 3/4 round. And if you're like me, before I was learning all this, you're like, what the heck is that? 3/4 round, I know it's got other names too, but it's the stuff when you put, in our case, we put down vinyl plank floors, you know, the pretend wood floors. And when you go up against your baseboard, you have to leave a little bit of space so they can move. Though, I'll be honest with you, the floors ain't never moved, but I don't know. But anyway, so what they say. So you take this, see, and it's 3/4 of an inch each way. And you attach it to your baseboard, and it hides that gap underneath here. And because you're going to attach it up here at the top to your baseboard, it's going to make it so that the flooring can move back and forth. Now, your walls meet. There's angles, everything else. You have two options, well, three options, honestly, for cutting these down to angles. The good old-fashioned miter box. You've seen those with the yellow thingies, and you line up the square saw and you cut it by hand. Then there's what I usually do, which I have one of those miter chop saws, you know, but it's like a big, huge one. I'm like, that's a lot of work just to be cutting these little things. Or what I saw other people doing on YouTube that I never knew existed before was these. I'm hoping you can see them. They are, well, I call them snips, but they've got the miter angles on them. So you can take them and cut it to the angle you need. Now, so a thing I had in the past, I've had to learn to measure really well. And if you're from my hometown, then you know that your math teacher was an amazing basketball coach. I'll leave it at that. So anywho, this is the issue. I'm going to take these and you cut them to angle. So to do this project, this is what I recommend. Of course, a tape measure. This is just a nice cheap tape measure. It's not even, the most important thing is that you're able to measure, okay? So what I do is I measure the space, but then on this, I have to know which way my angle's going out. So can you see there? I don't know because I'm in the picture. Yeah, see where I made the angle go that way? That to tell me that the angle needs to go that way. Duh. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're measuring the back of the wall where it's going to sit against, and then you want to draw your angles as to where it's going to be. Okay, so that's, and then it's very easy. You wouldn't think it would be, but it actually is. Now see, like here, it's got these little grooves in it. You just line it up and you just cut. Oh, you couldn't see it. Let me do that again. You just line up the grooves. So like straight across. And you cut it. Now you're saying, ooh, that wood is cutting really easily. That goes on to the other item I recommend. This isn't wood. This is like the recycled PVC mixed with wood stuff. So first of all, it's flexible. It kind of does better on hiding the imperfections on your walls. Second of all, it's white all the way through. Okay, so depending on if you've got white walls and everything, you may not need to paint these. Okay, so the second thing I recommend is these. You can get them in 8-foot or 12-foot pieces. They're not expensive. I think for a 8-foot piece, might have been like $5 at Lowe's. It's worth it. The next thing I recommend is a brad nailer. But if you've watched my video about the whole water in the closet issue, big is not better. Okay, so in here I have, if I can remember which side to open it on, again, backwards, always upside down. I have these. They're not very long. Actually, you know, I should measure them. I think they're like an inch. They're 1.25 inches. Because remember, this is 3/4 of an inch. So when it goes through, it's still going to click quite a bit into that baseboard. And that's what you want, okay? We're not, last time I did this, I was doing like 2-inch brad nails and I caused destruction. And the last thing I recommend is this caulking. This is that flexi stuff that you use. It says right on it, baseboard crown molding. It's white. It's almost like in a toothpaste tube. You squeeze it in, wipe it off. It blends right in with this. So if you don't need to paint this, if this is the color is fine, you most likely won't need to paint it. And then I actually do right across the top too and smooth it with my finger. And it makes a nice smooth, the seam disappears. It's perfect. So I recommend this, okay? You're gonna squeeze more of this than you need. So you're gonna need a rag or a gross pair of jeans to wipe your hands on because you are gonna have ooga on it. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna head over to the wall. I'm gonna take off a small part of baseboard. We're gonna measure it, we're gonna cut it, see how we do that. This is quick and easy, I promise. Let's go. Okay, so my next section I'm gonna start on. Okay, I'm gonna start this whole section here. But look at that nail sticking out. You know why? Because I used too long of brad nails. So we're gonna try to take this out. And that's just the caulking I put in it last time. But we're just gonna take it. And because I used too long of nails and I put them in the bottom, I didn't put them in the top. And that's why it's having such a rough time. Okay, so this is the piece we're taking out. See, it's got the nails and it's gross. And what you're gonna wanna do here, because this is the only time you're gonna get this open, you wanna scrape that gunk off with a handy dandy putty knife and then vacuum it out real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna do that now. So this is the piece we're going with. We're going to want a 45 and then a straight piece. And we've got to measure it. Okay, so we're going from the longest corner, so we're going from that corner to where we want the straight piece. So it's between 9 3/4 and 9 7/8. So I'm going to cut it to 9 7/8 and then fit it and see how we go from there, okay? So it's going this way. So we want to make sure our 45-degree angle is going in. It's going that way. If you go like this, before you measure, then you don't have to worry about it later. So I got that, see? And then 9 7/8. This is where remembering to bring a pen down and forward would have came in handy. But that's all right. Can you? Okay, how about there? Can you see me there? Down a bit. Okay, so now we've got it lined up. Now, if you're using real wood, I would probably recommend an actual saw. This PVC, it's really easy. Now we're going to check our measurements. See, it's going to need to be a little bit shorter. But that's easy with this. You're just going to line it up and do a chop. Let's see. And that is beautiful. See that there? So now we're going to take brad nails. We're going to pop it in. Okay, I've got my brad nailer. You can see it. We're putting that there, there. And we're going to aim up towards the top. Don't go down here at floor level. Aim almost at an angle up at the top. Okay. And then one more. And then this is where the miracle of this stuff comes in. Because you see the chips and everything in there? We're going to hide those. Caulking hides a multitude of sins. Okay. So you come in here. I hope you can see that good enough. You run it across. See your little nail holes. Get those. Go down the seam where they meet. And this is what I'm saying. You're going to have extra because you're going to go kind of nutty with it. But it looks really nice, doesn't it? I think it looks really good. So. Okay. We just did quarter round. Okay, so we just did a quarter round. Everything from taking off the old one, measuring, angle, snipping, nailing it, caulking it. It's in there. And this is any size. It is not that hard, I promise. You can do it. Okay, thank you for watching. You all are encouraging me to get my projects done so I can get to my grandbabies. I'll have another video on another project I have to do next week. Talk to you soon. Bye.